This painting of Jeremiah is almost like a comic strip. In the center of the painting sits the old prophet looking down dolefully, his elbow resting on the Bible. But on the left of the painting you see what he's thinking, like a kind of speech bubble in a comic strip. He's thinking about the fact that Jerusalem is on fire and being attacked by soldiers with lances, as you can see there in the far distance. That is, of course, what he had predicted would happen, and his prophecy came true. But what's so interesting about this painting is that because of the way the light falls on Jeremiah's face, your eye immediately is drawn to it. And this is what Rembrandt was so good at. He could put drama in a story like none other. And he did this with his use of light. In fact, Rembrandt was already famous for this during his own lifetime. A learned contemporary of his, Constantijn Huygens, wrote about Rembrandt when he met him together with another brilliant young painter, Lievens, in 1628, 2 years before Rembrandt painted this picture of Jeremiah, that Rembrandt's accuracy and liveliness of his portrayal of emotions was superior to that of Lievens. Well, that's absolutely true, of course. It is breathtaking. And the other thing you notice with Rembrandt is that he uses his tools, his brushes to the full. And he did not only use the back of his brushes, he also used palette knives, of course. And with these he scratched into the surface. Look at those trims on the coat, for instance. That's been simply scratched in, you see, with the back of a paintbrush, making the sepia underlayer show through, there, on the green shirt. The background is also beautifully painted. I mean, just imagine, you apply wet paint and then you brush over it with a large dry brush to remove some of the wet paint. Can you see? And on the left above his right shoulder, there. And if you look closely, you can see the marks the brush hairs have made. It may well have been hog hair, because these scratches are quite pronounced. And he used a similar brush to render an impression of a rock or a background. The clothes the man is wearing are also interesting, because we know, for instance, that in Amsterdam, merchants from all over the world walked around in exotic clothing, which had been brought over in ships, I presume. And Rembrandt and other painters and artists bought these Eastern clothing, because it looked exotic and antique, so that when they were painting an historical or biblical theme, they got their models to put on such a coat or a jacket.